So a tool that we have in our supplier evaluation and selection is the multi-criteria analysis. So how do we do it? What is it? Well, let's dive into that. The multi-criteria analysis is intuitive. It's a great way of showing and communicating how you rated people and who came out the best. It's quantifiable. So it enables you to quantify subjective criteria. You can actually put numbers to things. And it's applicable. You can use this tool in any situation where you have to compare alternatives. You can use this to compare cars. Do you get a BMW or do you get a Volkswagen? You can use a multi-criteria analysis. And then it's disciplined because it brings visibility to the process. And anybody should be able to pick it up and be able to read it. And also they should be able to, let's say, add another supplier to it, following the criteria that you've already laid out. So what are the steps? Well, first we need to decide what criteria we're going to use to compare everybody. So that could be quality, cost, delivery, transportation costs, responsiveness, all these different categories. And then we're going to put weights in there. So remember, all the weights have to equal 1. So the weights are going to be like 0.25, 0.15, 0.10, 0.05, basically a percentage, but leaving it in the decimal form. Define the scoring system. Is the scoring system going to be out of 1 out of 100, or 1 to 100? Or is it going to be 1 to 10, 1 to 1,000? Is it going to be 1 to 7? Well, define that. And then you got to evaluate your options. Actually using your scoring system and plugging in numbers, evaluating your suppliers. And then you need to calculate your results. So here's an example of a multi-criteria analysis already completed. So we have our factors, quality, cost, delivery, and so on. And then we have our weighted, 0.25, 0.2, 0.15, 0.15, and so on. And then we're looking at Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Hermes, and Saturn. So these sound like Greek gods, but we're evaluating these. So these could be 5 different suppliers. So when we look at these suppliers, and we put in the numbers, we then go down to the supplier score. So we'll take quality, for example. Apollo had 98. Well, what is 98 times 0.25? Then we're going to add that to, and do the same thing for every line, and put it all at the bottom, which comes up to 92.85. But when we look across, we look for the highest value, which is Artemis, 93.4. So that's the one we would choose based on this multi-criteria analysis. You're using hard facts. You're not using a gut intuition. You're not using a guess. You're actually using data, which makes the process so much easier to justify when you're questioned about it, or you're even challenged about it. So this was a multi-criteria analysis. It is a pretty easy tool to use. It's just determining what factors you want to use and what's the weight of those factors. That's probably the hardest part of this. After that, the rest is easy. So why don't we figure out if we are a customer of choice for these suppliers? We're evaluating the suppliers. They're going to evaluate us. So are we a customer of choice? Well, let's find out in the next video.